Hey everyone, so today we're diving into a hidden mental trap, something that could be holding you back no matter how smart you are. It's a really powerful force called cognitive rigidity. And in the next few minutes, we're going to break down what it is, why it's so tricky to spot, and most importantly, how to start breaking free from it.
So let's just jump right in with a question for you. I want you to think about your daily routines. You know, your go-to solutions, the way you just automatically handle problems. Is it possible that those very habits, the ones that make your life feel so efficient, are also secretly making you less mentally sharp? And here's the big reframe, the key thing to get. This isn't about your IQ dropping or you somehow losing intelligence. No, not at all. It's about your brain simply underperforming. You can think of it like having a high-performance sports car, but you only ever drive it in first gear. All that power is there, you're just not tapping into it. So what is this trap that's keeping our mental sports car stuck in first gear? Well, it's something called cognitive rigidity. And it's like this invisible wall we run into without even knowing it's there. So what is it exactly? Well, the short version is, it's mental stubbornness. It's when your brain gets so locked into a certain way of thinking or doing things that it just refuses to adapt, even when it's staring new information right in the face. It's kind of like stubbornly holding on to an old paper map when the road you're on has completely changed. And looking at it side by side like this really highlights the difference, right? A rigid mind gets stuck, it avoids new challenges. And when a mistake happens, it gets defensive. But a flexible mind, that's a different story. It adapts, it actually looks for challenges to grow, and it treats mistakes with curiosity. Just for a second, which one of those columns feels a little more familiar to you day to day? But okay, here's the million-dollar question. If we're stuck in this rigid mindset, why can't we just, see it and snap out of it? Well, it turns out there's a really powerful psychological blind spot that gets in the way. And that blind spot is often the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's this funny cognitive bias where not being good at something actually prevents you from seeing how not good at it you are. You literally don't know what you don't know, and because of that, you're overly confident. You ever see someone who just learned 3 chords on a guitar and now they're talking about their world tour? Yeah, that's pretty much the Dunning-Kruger effect in action. This is the gap that the Dunning-Kruger effect creates. This huge gulf between perception and reality. On one side, you have someone thinking, oh yeah, I've mastered this, for sure. But on the other side, the reality is more like, okay, I know the basics. It's that difference between genuinely believing I don't make mistakes and recognizing that you're always still learning. So what's the antidote to this whole confidence trap? Well, the root cause is a lack of something called metacognition, which is really just a fancy word for the skill of thinking about your own thinking. It's that ability to step back and just observe your own thought process. When your metacognition is low, the Dunning-Kruger effect just runs wild. Want a simple way to build this skill? Try this. Just journal for 2 minutes about a decision you made today. Ask yourself, why did I make that choice? What was I assuming? That simple act of self-reflection, that's metacognition. Okay, so if low metacognition is the reason we can't see the walls of our own mental prison, what are the daily habits that are actually building those walls brick by brick? Let's get practical here and look at the habits that are really holding us back. It really boils down to 2 core things, 2 big pillars. First up is weak impulse control. That's when you just react based on instinct or gut feeling instead of taking a breath and thinking strategically. And second is avoiding challenges. I mean, every single time you stick to what's easy and comfortable, you're actually stopping your brain from building the new pathways it needs to stay flexible. Together, these 2 create this powerful loop that just keeps making you more and more rigid. All right, I know that might sound a bit daunting. A mental trap we can't see, fueled by habits we barely even notice. But here is the good news. This is not a permanent state. There is absolutely a path forward, a way out. And that path doesn't start with you memorizing a list of clever brain hacks. Those can be fun, but they don't really fix the root of the problem. The real change that's needed here is much deeper and, honestly, way more powerful. The solution is a fundamental shift in your mindset. It's about letting go of this idea that your intelligence is just some fixed number, and instead seeing it as this dynamic resource you have. The goal isn't just to be smart, it's to use your mind flexibly, to adapt, to learn, and to apply what you know to new situations. That's where the real cognitive power is. So that leaves us with one final powerful question to take with you. Looking at your work, your relationships, your beliefs, what is one rigid thought, one "this is just how we do things" assumption, that you can challenge today? The answer to that question might just be your first step on the path to a much more flexible mind.